Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we take up MCQs based on important news and articles that have featured in The Hindu and Indian Express newspaper. Topics for today's discussion are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. The first question of today's discussion is based on this news which featured in The Hindu newspaper. Now recently, the Naveen Patnaik government of Odisha has mooted a proposal allowing officers above Joint Secretary rank to fly to Kotia, a territory claimed by both Odisha and Andhra Pradesh in Koraput district of Odisha state. This idea has been mooted to review progress on developmental activities which has been claimed by both the state of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Now previously UPSC has been asking questions based on important geographical features related to the places which are in news. As in 2015 it has asked question based on tributaries of Godavari river. So let's take up today's practice question. Question is, consider the following rivers. You have to identify which among the above mentioned river are left bank tributaries of river Mahanadi. Option given here are Sionath, Jonk, Hasdev and Tel. The Mahanadi river rises from the place near Sihawa, near Raipur in the state of Chhattisgarh to the south of Amarkantak. The river flows through the state of Chhattisgarh and Odisha and finally merged with the Bay of Bengal. Now referring to this map, you can identify the course of Mahanadi river and you can identify that Jonk, Ong along with Tel river are right bank tributary of Mahanadi, while Sionath, Hasdev, Mand and Ib river are left bank tributary of Mahanadi. So as you had to find the left bank tributary of Mahanadi, our answer would be A, that is 1 and 3 only, Sionath and Hasdev. Now answer for this previous year question is D, that is 2 and 3 only. Inspiration for our next question comes from this picture that featured in the Hindu newspaper. Picture is depicting devotees worshipping Lord Sri Ranganatha Swamy on the occasion of Vaikunt Ekadashi in the city of Hyderabad. Now this particular temple is not that important from the UPSC examination perspective. However, a temple related to deity with similar name is pretty much important from the perspective of UPSC examination. Now UPSC has been asking questions based on various aspects of temple architecture in India. As in 2014, it has asked question based on term Panchayatan. Now let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question is, with reference to Sri Ranganatha Swamy temple of Sri Rangam, consider the following statement. Statement 1 says the site of the temple is situated on the bank of Godavari river. Now this statement is incorrect as the temple in question is also known as Thiruvaranga Tirupati. It is one of the most illustrious Vaishnav temples in the country, dedicated to Ranganatha, a reclining form of Hindu deity, that is Lord Vishnu. It is situated on the island of Sri Rangam in the state of Tamil Nadu and is bounded by two rivers, namely Kaveri and Kolidam, which is a tributary of Kaveri. Now second statement says the temple has been included in the tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now this statement is correct as it has been part of tentative list since April 2014. Now the third statement says the temple is unique in its Saptaprakram formation. Now this statement is correct as this term referred to a temple-centered settlement pattern that comprises of Sapt, that is 7 concentric rectangular enclosures. It is formed by thick and huge rampart walls that run round the sanctum sectorium in which the deity presides. So as you had to find the correct statements, our answer would be C, that is 2 and 3 only. Our next question of today's discussion is based on this article which featured in the Hindu newspaper page number 6. Article says that people on either side of the borders should not be victim of international conflict. And in this discussion, this article mentions a program that is Vibrant Village Program. UPSC has been asking questions based on important schemes and initiative that has been taken up by the central government. As in 2015, it has asked question based on Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program and Command Area Development Program. So let's take up today's practice MCQ. Question says that consider the following statements. The Vibrant Village program envisages coverage of historically important villages in entire India. Now this statement is incorrect, as Vibrant Villages program has been announced in the Finance Minister's budget speech of 2022. And it covers the border villages on northern border which are having sparse population, limited connectivity and infrastructure, and which often get left out from the developmental gains. Now the second statement says the Border Area Development Program, that is BADP, is being implemented by Ministry of Rural Development. Now this statement is again incorrect, as Ministry of Home Affairs has been implementing the BADP through the state governments as part of comprehensive approach to border management. The program aims to meet the special development needs of the people living in remote and inaccessible areas situated near the international border. So you had to find the correct statements, and both the statements are incorrect. Our answer would be D, that is neither one nor two. Answer for this PYQ is B, that is 2 only. Inspiration for our next question comes from this news which featured on the Hindu newspaper, page number 12. News talks about the possible confrontation between the National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, that is NCST, and the central government over the issue of new forest rules 2022. As the chairman of NCST has termed the new rules as violative of Forest Right Act of 2006. Now FRA 2006 has been an important theme from the perspective of UPSC preliminary examination. As in 2013, it has asked question about the authority to initiate the process for determining the nature and extent of individual or community forest rights, or both. So let's have a look at today's practice question. Question says the scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers recognition of forest rights, that is FRA Act 2006, ensures which of the following? You have to identify the correct answer. Now the Forest Right Act 2006 recognizes the rights of the forest dwelling tribal communities and other traditional forest dwellers to forest resources on which these communities were dependent for a variety of needs, including livelihood, habitation, and other socio-cultural needs. The Act encompasses rights of self-cultivation and habitation, which are usually regarded as individual rights, and community rights such as grazing, fishing, and access to water bodies in forest, and habitat rights for PVTGs. So as you can see here, statement 1 says habitat rights for particularly vulnerable tribes, that is PVTG group. This is a correct statement. Second statement says community rights such as grazing, fishing, and access to water bodies in forest. This is also a correct statement. Now third statement says it protects the tribal population from eviction without rehabilitation and settlement. This statement is also correct, as it provides rights to allocation of forest land for developmental process to fulfill basic infrastructural needs of the community, in conjunction with the right to fair compensation and transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Settlement Act 2013. FRA protects the tribal population from eviction without rehabilitation and settlement. Now statement 4 says to undo historical injustice occurred to the forest dwelling communities. Now having read all the three statements, you can easily find that objective of this act is very same. So statement 4 is also correct. So our answer would be D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Answer for this previous year question is D, that is Gram Sabha. Our next question is based on this news that featured in the Hindu newspaper, page number 14. News is about IMF MD warning that global economy will face tougher year in 2023. It says that world's three main economies, that is US, China and EU, are slowing simultaneously. And she cautions that Chinese government's approach to reopening country's economy will likely impact regional global growth negatively. Now, important international organizations like IMF, World Bank, etc. have remained important from the UPSC preliminary perspective. As you can see, in 2014, UPSC has asked question to identify which among the following organization brings out World Economic Outlook publication. So let's take up today's practice question. Question is, which of the following publications are released by the International Monetary Fund? As you know, in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Conference, the formation of IMF was initiated. It came into operations in 1945, and it is an international organization focusing on financial stability. In this question, you have to identify the publications that are being brought by IMF. Option 1 is Report on Currency and Finance. Now, this publication is brought by RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. Second option is Global Financial Stability Report. Now, this report provides an assessment of the global financial system and markets and addresses emerging market financing in global context. This report is published by IMF. Third option is Fiscal Monitor Report. Now, this publication is brought out by IMF. This is prepared twice a year by the IMF's Fiscal Affairs Department. Its projections are based on the same database used for the World Economic Outlook and the Global Financial Stability Report. Fourth option is Global Economic Prospect Report. Now, this report is brought by the World Bank. Now, fifth option is World Economic Outlook Report. It is published by the IMF usually twice a year. It presents an analysis of global economic developments during the near and medium term. So, as you had to find the reports brought out by IMF, our option would be 2, 3 and 5, that is C. And now from this discussion, you know that answer for this previous year question would be A, that is IMF. Our next question is based on this news which featured in the Indian Express newspaper, page number 17. Now, ahead of the Union Budget of 2023 and 24, the discussions are expected to see states raising the issue of higher control by center in many of the welfare schemes, especially coming in the backdrop of the discontinuation of free food grain scheme beyond December. Now, schemes and initiatives of central government have been a recurring theme in UPSC preliminary examination. As in year 2020, it has asked a question based on MP LADS scheme. So here we have taken up a practice question based on centrally sponsored scheme and central sector schemes. You have to identify the incorrect statement. Statement 1 says, in all centrally sponsored schemes, the state bears 25% of the total funding of the scheme. Now, this statement is incorrect, as central welfare schemes implemented by the government to provide financial and other aids to individuals who cannot support themselves, and they can be categorized into two sections. First is centrally sponsored scheme and second is central sector scheme. Now, centrally sponsored schemes are those schemes which are implemented by the state government but sponsored by the central government with defined shareholding. Now, this funding is borne by the states in the ratio of 50-50, that is, both center and state will bear equal cost, or to a ratio of 90:10 for hilly states. In this case, 90% of the funding is borne by the central government while 10% is borne by the states. Some other ratios are 75:25 or 70:30. So, statement says that state bear 25% of the funding is incorrect. Now, second statement says the central sector schemes are implemented by the central government and the financing needed for the scheme is entirely sourced by the central government. Now, this statement is correct. And for the comparison, the implementation of a centrally sponsored scheme is done by state government, while central sector schemes are implemented by the central government itself. Statement 3 says the Green Revolution and Swachh Bharat Mission are examples of central sector schemes. Now, this statement is again incorrect, as the Green Revolution, Swachh Bharat Mission, along with Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, etc. are centrally sponsored schemes and comes under the definition of core schemes. So as you had to find the incorrect statements, our answer would be D, that is 1 and 3 only. Answer for this PYQ is D, that is 1, 2 and 4 only. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.